Okay, yesterday we were discussing, Thursday, we were discussing about Kaddish, the obligations, who has first preference in Kaddish, and so on and so forth. Okay, now like this. What happens, somebody, let's say, had a yard site on a Tuesday. For whatever reason it is, they didn't make Kaddish in the morning or the night before, whatever, they couldn't make a Kaddish in the morning. So the din is Aruch that they can say Kaddish Tuesday night. The yard site is Tuesday, so they missed either Monday night or Tuesday morning or whatever, so then they can make up the Kaddish by davening or saying Kaddish at Ma'ariv for the yard site they missed that day. Okay, then Halachos says, but it's only the next night, not 3 days later you woke up. Now, Halachos says like this, even though we know Kaddish and davening for the Yomid is beneficial for the deceased, for the neshama of the deceased, like we learned, nevertheless, that's not the main thing. If you want to really do things for the people that passed away, it's behaving proper, in the proper way of Torah, to train your children to do proper things, to live like a proper Jew. And when your children follow in the footsteps, then as we know by Yaakov Avinu says he didn't die, and that's even more important than saying Kaddish. And another thing we learned Torah also, the purpose of Kaddish is the beneficial for the neshama that passed away. If people are going to fight because of it, me, you, davening, so then it's detrimental to the deceased. It's better for the peace of the neshama. You don't fight, the people fighting, and then it works out much better. Okay, that's basically it for these dinim. By the way, they bring down interesting some sefer that writes that what happens if people fight for Kaddish and one of them gets it, but Torah shouldn't be the one that got it. His Kaddish doesn't help anyway. It doesn't help for the deceased because it came about in a negative way.
What was that again?
I said if somebody it says Kaddish and he doesn't deserve to be saying it, meaning halachically it belongs to somebody else. Okay? It doesn't help. And the other person, the Kaddish, it helps for the right person. Even though his son didn't say it, somebody else said it, it doesn't help for that guy who took it wrongly, it helps for the one that was supposed to be said it for.
The reason for girls not saying Kaddish is called Isha or other reasons as well?
It's an issue of tznius. It's an interesting discussion in halacha whether Kitzur brings it down very briefly. Let's say a daughter doesn't say Kaddish in shul. Some people say, what Kitzur brings down. Some people say if she wants to make a minyan in her house and say Kaddish, then she could do it. And even that other poskim say Shegam Zeisen Lasi. They shouldn't do that either. Now, many poskim discuss this whole women because it's very popular today that women say Kaddish. That's because of the equality of men and women. What do you mean the son could say and the daughter doesn't say and all that? So in Halacha, the whole discussion, definitely in Halacha it said they should be discouraged not to say Kaddish.
Even quietly?
They should be discouraged not to say Kaddish, period. If they dafka want to, so it says in Halacha they should say Kaddish quietly. And the men's Kaddishim should be louder than that. So you have a scenario sometimes, what happens if the woman's the only one in shul saying Kaddish? So then the din is, but the poskim, the kitzur doesn't mean now, but poskim being down, a man should say Kaddish louder than the woman's, that you hear the men's Kaddish, not the woman's Kaddish.
Is that encouraged if there was no sons?
No.
If there were only daughters?
No, if they're only daughters, sons-in-law say, halachically, either sons-in-law say, or relatives, brothers.
She can pay somebody.
Or they pay somebody. No, halachically it's preferable to have a son-in-law. In halachah it's a machlekes. It's a machlekes if, let's say, a son-in-law should say, or a brother should say for the year. It's machlekes in halacha. Who's better to say, the brother of the deceased or the son-in-law of the deceased? And there's two opinions in halacha. Either way, he basically goes with this stuff. But a daughter in general, what?
What did they say?
What?
The son-in-law or the brother?
I say some people say this, some people say that. So either way,
is okay.
whoever is going to make sure to make the minyan every day.
Do you need to have a permission from that family to say Kaddish?
No. You don't need permission from the family to say Kaddish. The only thing is, if the family says, I don't, let's say your family hates the guy. The family says, I don't want you to say Kaddish. So if it's a child, we learn to, it depends what the reason of saying Kaddish is. But somebody else, you don't need permission to say Kaddish. Anybody could say Kaddish. If they don't have a person without parents, anybody could say Kaddish. There's another interesting thing, which is brought down in Allah, two more points. Number one, what happens if there's nobody in Shul to say Kaddish? You have a minyan, Baruch Hashem, no yard site, no ovel, no nothing. So now comes the Yom Enkel Elokeinu Aleinu. Should somebody in the Shul say Kaddish? Should somebody at least say Kaddish? So there's a letter from the Rebbe. The Rebbe's opinion was that somebody should say Kaddish.
All of them?
No. Oh, the obligatory Kaddish. In other words, not Mishnayos at the end. Tilim is also only if there's a mourner. So I'm saying the Yom Enkel Elokeinu and our Nusach. Yom Enkel Elokeinu Aleinu, somebody should say it, if possible. Now, if everybody in the shul has parents, then obviously nobody can say the Kaddish. I mean, it's like yeshiva bar, you're in yeshiva, well, let's say you're minyan with Baruch Hashem, everybody has parents, so then
The Kaddish right before Eid, I think that it was very much...
there's nothing from the Rebbe about that I know of. Kaddish the Rabbanon, somebody with parents could say.
Is that the one before? Yeah.
Any Kaddish the Rabbanon, after Enkel Elokeinu also. Kaddish the Rabbanon is not Kaddish Yosem. Kaddish Yosem, you need to have somebody who doesn't have parents. In fact, there's another interesting shaila in halacha. What happens? Somebody doesn't have one parent, but the other parent they have. Okay, so during the year, obviously they have to daven. Yahrzeit they have to daven. But besides that, can they just say Kaddish for somebody? Somebody asks them to say Kaddish. Can they say Kaddish for somebody? So halacha says, the proper thing is to get permission from the living parent that you could say Kaddish. The living parent should give you permission, and then you could say Kaddish. Technically, you could say Kaddish because you don't have a parent. But if there's a living parent, you should get permission. And I know a case, there's somebody asked their mother permission to say Kaddish. The mother said, no, I don't want you to say Kaddish. What?
Somebody goes to the cemetery on a yard side or a shloshim or something. I see they say Kaddish, but
If there's a minyan.
there's a minyan.
Yeah.
Some people say Kaddish to Rabbanan.
It depends what they're saying. One second. No. Depends what you're learning. If you're learning Tilim, if you're saying Tilim, anytime it's Torah Shebiksav or davening, you say the regular Kaddish Yosem, Yehei Shlomo. If you're learning Mishnah, Gemara, Torah Shebal Peh, then you say Al Yisrael, Val Rabbanim, Val Talmidei, and that's because Torah Shebal Peh was the Chachamim.
So in cemetery you don't learn.
It depends what you're doing. For instance, even after Kiddush Levana, right? After Kiddush Levana, our minhag we say Kaddish Yosem. Some people say, Sfardim, I think, say Kaddish Rabbanan. It depends basic what the primary thing. Because in Kiddush Levana, by the way, we say Psukim of Tilim, right? Haluluka and Shir Amalis. But we also say, Amar Abaya, Hokach Nimrun Muhammad. There's also, but the majority of it is Torah Shebiksav. So when you learn Torah Shebal Peh, then you say Al Yisrael. When you learn Torah Shebiksav, or you say Torah Shebiksav, then that's why after the Yom is basically Tilim. You say Tfilah David, and then Yom, which is also another parak in Tilim. So you can't say Al Yisrael. But the Kaddish Al Yisrael is not limited to orphans. I mean, even a person with two parents is allowed to say Kaddish D'Rabbanan. So in Israel, you should know, in Israel I've seen all the Israeli Bachim say Kaddish Al Yisrael, even though they have parents. In America, it was never done like that usually. Stam HaMinig, it's not halacha. If they want, they could say Kaddish.
Last year we were discussing saying Kaddish for a brother or Hashem with a child. So why is it
Child?
or is it a child, daughter or something like that? So why is it that parents don't?
What? If what?
If parents don't say,
If a child, God forbid, passes away?
I
I didn't talk about that, by the way. I didn't talk about a parent losing a child if they say Kaddish. First of all, there's a lot of different opinions. All this is minig, you should know. It's not din. All this minig, like, at what age do you say Kaddish for a child that passed away? Some poskim say a year. They have to be at least a year old to say Kaddish. In fact, somebody called me today. Nabuch is somebody in the community. When he called me today, she was in the middle of delivering a stillborn. But they knew it was going to be, they knew already it's a stillborn. So the question, what do you do with the Levi? You know, all that type of stuff. But then the question was with Kaddish. And that for sure, you don't say Kaddish. The question is, some people don't say under a year, some people don't say under 6 years, some people don't say under bar and bas mitzvah. Every place has a different minig. But many places, let's say a father has both parents alive. And God forbid they lose a child. So, again, because unless if the parents give you permission, you're not allowed to say Kaddish. So a lot of times what happens, they'll daven for the Omid, but they won't say Kaddish for the child. Huh? What? For a parent? I'm saying a parent for a child? Yeah. No.
Why is it that siblings don't have children?
Because they're not the parent of the child. Or the child of the parent.
Say for your parents, why can't you say for your siblings?
You could say, I'm not saying you have to be if there's a chiyuv.
Chiyuv.
No, there isn't. If a brother has children, then you don't say Kaddish for him.
If a brother has parents, but doesn't have parents, and lost a brother or a sister, he doesn't say Kaddish for his
Who?
The brother.
The guy has, if he has a brother and the brother has parents, then he also has parents. Hello?
There are two brothers, one brother died. The one that's still alive, can you say
They have parents?
No, that's it.
No parents. If he wants, he could say it, the father could say. Or if he's dead, then somebody else could say. He could say. But the chiyuv is on the kids. The chiyuv is on the kids. He could say.
Why is chiyuv not on the brother?
Because there's no chiyuv to say Kaddish on a brother.
Why?
Because there's no chiyuv to say Kaddish. There's a din of kibbud avayim. There's no din of kibbud brothers by saying Kaddish.
In the first 30 days?
Again, some people have a minhag for a brother, they'll say 30 days. And even if there's children, even the deceased had children, they'll do it for 30 days. Our minhag is if there's children, the brothers don't say it all. More time. What?
Different nusachos when davening the same Kaddish at the same time. How does it go when one has a longer nusach versus?
B'chlal, according to halacha, Chaim Sefer brings this down. Other people bring it down. When people say Kaddish, they should say it together. Why? That everybody does Amen, 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 Amen. You say, the Sfardim are very good at this, by the way.
Yes.
You say Kaddish, everybody says together, Yizkadav, Yizkadav, Shmei Rabba, and then everybody answers Amen, and everybody is then. Okay, the problem is, when you have the Sfardi Kaddish, Yehei Shtama, they go, Revach, 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 whatever over there they say, yeah? And then you have the Ashkenazi Kaddish, so the proper thing to do, halachically, is for the Ashkenazi to lengthen that sentence of Yehei Shtama Rabba, and for them to say, that again, you say V'imnu Amen together. That's the proper way halachically to say Kaddish. It's brought down in halacha. That everybody answers Amen together. The Kaddish together, Amen together.
Let's say you are at 6 in the cemetery, and you start, they saying Kaddish because there are definitely 4 more.
No, you can't.
Somewhere. No, in the cemetery there is definitely 10.
First of all, how do you know that?
There are 7.
Second, you have to be in the same area. You can't have a guy, even if you see him, by the way, a block down. Say, oh, okay, I'll say Kaddish because he's there. No, they have to be together.